Alright, so I wasn't gonna film this video until after I edited my other video and charged my camera and shit, but my video is taking forever to process, so we're here. This is the video that I've been wanting to film literally for ages, like the one that I keep talking about, and it's not even that exciting, but like I need to film this before the second movie comes out. And if you haven't watched my last video or seen my post, I'm in Florida, Hurricane Dorian is coming, I need to leave my apartment for a few days, we gotta evacuate, probably not gonna have power, so I'm not gonna be able to do this. So, the goal here is to film this and then upload this tomorrow, and upload the video that I filmed before this tonight, so that I can get in content before the storm. So, this video is basically my hopes for It Chapter 2, meaning scenes I would like to see in the movie, that be scenes from the book, or from the miniseries, or whatever, and then just general little hopes and details that I hope that they incorporate in the film. I'm going to do this for the Goldfinch as well, but I'll do that next week, once it's Goldfinch week, because this is It week, baby. I mean, not really yet, it's Friday, so it's a week from today, so it's It week, alright? It is. Also, I got my ticket. I'm officially going. 6:10 p.m. on Friday, September 6th, official release day. I'm not going on Thursday, I'm going on Friday, and I'm going with some friends. I'm very, 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 very excited. It's happening. We're here. Okay. So I have a whole long list that I've been accumulating over the course of a few weeks. I just recently rewatched the miniseries with my roommate, about last week and today. We finished it today, so that refreshed some things for me, and then just some general favorite stuff from the book that I've been putting on this list. So it's split into two parts, specific scenes, and just general hopes and details. So we're going to talk about the scenes first. So some of these are scenes that I know are going to be in the movie, that I'm excited to see, and then some of them are ones that we don't know if they're going to be in the movie, and I would like to see. So the first one being the Adrian Mellon scene, which we know is in the film. But I'm very excited to see the Adrian Mellon scene. I think that there are a lot of really important correlations between Adrian and Eddie. I think that it's a really great setup to the next era of It. I'm really excited to see what they do with like the bridge, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be heavy. And I want people to be uncomfortable from the very start of this movie, to know that this is a gay rom-com and not the horror movie that they paid to see. I'm kidding. But, like, also, Stephen King said gay rights. Alright, so the next one I'm very excited to see, but I'm also dreading immensely, is the Eddie's death scene, because it's like the biggest Reddy scene in the book. But now, see, I wrote this before we got more, like, all the proof, so I know it's different, so I'm just very scared that I'm just gonna, it's gonna be so sad. It's gonna be so sad. But I'm very excited to see Bill Hader's performance, because we've heard great things about Bill from the critics and the pre-reviews and such. Everyone's saying that he should get an Oscar, which is like, that's a serious claim. Like, I love the Oscars. I love award shows. I watch them every year. I watch all the Oscar films. I take the Oscars very seriously. This is not the kind of movie that I expected anybody to be like, oh yeah, this should get an Oscar, other than makeup and such, which they should have gotten for the first movie and did not. But that's very exciting to me, that a lot of serious critics are saying that his performance was good enough for an Oscar, because that means that he truly is the Richie we deserve. And I'm just so happy, because it's what Richie deserves, too. Richie's such a wonderful character. And I'm so glad that apparently he's getting portrayed phenomenally in this film, enough to stand out immensely to the majority of the people. Like, he is the standout in all the reviews I've seen. So that's very exciting. Okay, so I have on here whatever the R+E thing was, because this was before we got all the leaks. That was up to what we found out, that whatever that was. Now we have more information. So I'm just looking forward to the entire arcade kissing bridge sequence. If you've seen some of my other videos and you want to know the leaks, I guess, go watch those. But oh man, I'm just so excited, guys. Like, there was an article released today. Like, hold on, let me find it. I'm gonna find the fucking article, because I cried. Hose, I cried. I really did. Andy Bichetti felt it was important to include the sequence in Chapter 2, referring to the Adrian Mellon scene, and he and screenwriter Gary Dauberman also added an additional LGBTQ subplot that King has enthusiastically approved. Without revealing the spoiler, the new thread is intended as an awakening of acceptance, a moment of sweetness that points to positive change. We are a society that really work to leave our differences behind and value equality. Bichetti says, all these things actually make a community live in harmony. Bitch, I've been worried about this taking place in 2016 since we knew that was going to be a thing. But this bitch, it's all, everything happens for a reason. Because Richie is a canonical bisexual icon, and I could not be more thrilled. Anyways, let's proceed. Okay, so I have on here Hansel and Gretel, Mrs. Kirsh, meaning that I would like to see the original Mrs. Kirsh scene from the book, where after Beverly, notices what's in the tea, the house turns into, a candy house from Hansel and Gretel, and Mrs. Kirsh chases her around the house. It's kind of iconic, and while I don't think we're gonna get that, due to the footage that we saw in the first trailer, I would still like to see the candy house, if they want to surprise us with that. That was one of my favorite scenes from the book. Beverly's storyline overall in the adult section is actually my favorite. As far as the adult storylines go, that will soon change with Richie's in the film, because I'm so excited that they're deciding to take this route with him. But I really enjoyed that scene in the novel, so that'd be cool if they decide to do that. When Bill finds silver and fixes it with Mike. So when Mike tells the losers to venture off and find a place in Derry that brings back memories after their dinner at the Chinese restaurant, Bill goes into town and he runs into a pawn shop where he finds silver, his bike. And then he brings it over to Mike's house and they fix it together. It's really cute. We love friendship. And I really hope that that's in the film, because I like character scenes. I would rather get 2.5 hours of character scenes and 15 minutes of Pennywise, if that was an option. It's not going to be the case, but that would be a nice scene to see. Bev leaving Tom sequence, I'm very excited about this. If you have not read the book, when the losers all have a chapter at the beginning when they get the call, and of them getting the call and leaving to go to Derry. Bev is in an abusive relationship with her husband, Tom Rogan, and right when she's packing to leave, basically they get in a fight and he assaults her because she's in an abusive relationship. And then she is being the fucking badass she is, throws a fucking vanity table on him and shit, and I'm ready for it. I need to see it. I need to see her throwing the perfume bottles at his head. I need to see her throwing the vanity on top of him. I need it, I need to see the badass Beverly Marsh that we all know and love. And I'm just excited for the scene in general, because I think it's going to be a lot more intense than the miniseries scene, obviously, because the miniseries in general is just very cheesy, and very rushed. So I think it's going to be cool to see this in a full, fleshed out, dramatic horror film. Ritual of Chud. So we know this is going to be in the movie. I'm very excited for the Ritual of Chud. It's a great character dynamic scene. There's a lot of great banter, and I really hope that they do the whole thing with Richie and Mike getting the hallucinations, and they're in the frickin' realm of Pennywise evilness. I want that. I think it would look great with the new age of technology and such. I think they'd be able to pull it off, and I want it. I also would like Richie being concerned about Eddie's health regarding the Ritual of Chud, because he's like, bitch, you have fucking asthma, I'm not letting you get in the fucking smoke hole, and he's like, nah, bitch, you can't tell me what to do, I'm gonna do it, and he's like, boy. I love triggered protective Richie. It's my favorite thing in the world. And since we have canonical in love with Eddie Richie in this movie, the best thing that's ever happened, that's a possibility. We're truly living in a blessed timeline. Alright, Eddie beats up Henry. I need this in my life. So when Henry breaks out of his asylum holding cell place and goes and finds the losers because he's being tempted by Pennywise, and Pennywise is showing him where they are. He finds them in the hotel. He looks at who's staying at the hotel, and he decides to go after Eddie. And he and Eddie square the fuck up, because we love Eddie Kaspbrak. Eddie Kaspbrak is the bravest member of the Losers Club. Actually, fight me. Eddie Kaspbrak is the strongest human being, and I love him so dearly, and I just really need to see him break out of his shell and have that battle with Henry before the others show up. It's the fucking best. It's gonna be short because it like, just like the short little, you know, like, throw a few punches. Don't mess with me, bitch. That's what I need. The fortune cookies. So I've been hoping and hoping and hoping for some sort of confirmation that we're going to get the fortune cookie sequence. And if you watched my last video that's going to be uploaded before this, one of the tracks on the soundtrack, it's called Fortune Cookies. And I'm so excited. So once again, if you have not read the book, in the Chinese restaurant scene, at the end when they're leaving, they're all like arguing, and Richie and a few others are like, I want to go home, like, I don't want to do this again. And they take the fortune cookies from the plate and they open them, and inside is a bunch of creepy crawly things correlating to each of them. So Beverly's has blood, Eddie's has bugs in it, there's like crab legs in one, there's an eyeball in one, all sorts of creepy crawly things. And this scene actually looked pretty good in the miniseries, considering the type of technology they had at that time and the execution of the rest of the miniseries. I think it looks pretty good. But I would like to see an upgraded version of that scene, once again with this new realm of technology and all these things that they have access to in the entertainment industry. I think it's going to look really dope. So I'm very excited. The window reflection, aka what's definitely going to be my breaking point. We know this is in it. This was in the very first trailer of the remaining 5 losers facing the window and seeing the 2 fallen losers in the reflection. It's so heartbreaking. Such a great ending sequence to the book, like the last scene where all the losers are together. I really hope that that's the scene where they end the movie. I would like the last scene in the movie to be of all the losers together, and I've said that before. So I just want them to make me cry. I'm bringing tissues. I'm prepared. Give it to me. Alright, Paul Bunyan. Once again, I put this on the list before we got all the leaks, so I'm even more excited for the Paul Bunyan scene, which is Richie's solo adventure scene after they split up after dinner. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so dope. Like, we've seen so many little clips from the trailers. We have the 2 tracks from the soundtrack, and it's gonna be a great time. I'm so excited. Alright, Stan's head in the fridge. Once again, need this. I need this. I talked about this a little bit in the soundtrack video. I really want the scene where they are all over at Mike's house for drinks. Mike goes to the fridge and he opens it, and Stan's head is in the fridge, but it's Pennywise, so he can talk, and he's like talking to them, and it's epic. It's awesome. I think it would look so cool. Anything to give Andy Bean more screen time is highly appreciated, because I feel so bad for the man. He's getting roped into all of these interviews, and everyone's like, so what can you tell us about Stan's journey in It Chapter 2? And he's just like, well, hopefully that's the thing that we get to see, because I think it's gonna look cool if they're able to execute that. Okay, so fighting the eyeball, LOL, battery acid. This is a very vague list, but this is a children's scene, and I don't think we're gonna get this. But once again, I've expressed many a times that I love Eddie Kaspbrak so dearly. Eddie Kaspbrak is my favorite fictional literary character of all time. I absolutely love him in the book so much. And he has this great scene when he's in the book, and it's the first time that they are going down the sewers to fight Pennywise, and they get attacked by a giant floating eyeball, as you do. And Eddie, being the brave little sassy bitch that he is, he takes his inhaler and he jumps on the eyeball and he squirts the inhaler at the eyeball, and he imagines that it's battery acid, and the power of his imagination kills it. It's fucking epic. It sounds stupid, but trust me, it's so great for so many reasons. And I also just think it would be a great comedic scene if they decide to do it somehow. They're probably not going to, because the timelines, it's just going to be really weird. But the timelines are already going to be weird, considering the kids are going to be in this movie. So I don't know. One can dream. Any Eddie content is good content. Next one is Henry and Pickles. Also probably not going to get this. This is a really controversial plot line, I guess. So basically there's a lot of material in the novel regarding Henry, or the Bowers family in general, and Mike and the Hanlon family in general. So the kids section of the book takes place in the 50s, so it was more close to a time where slavery was a thing, and it's basically implied that the Bowers at one point were slave owners and possibly owned members of the Hanlon family. So Henry has this very strong vendetta against Mike in general, and just kind of having African-American people in the town of Derry. He comes from a very racist family, and they did touch on that a bit in the first film, but I just don't think that Mike got enough screen time in general, and they just really switched his plot line around. I didn't like it. But there's this scene in the book where Henry poisons Mike's dog. He kills his dog, and I just think it's really a turning point to just kind of just show how vicious Henry truly is and how, like, much hatred he really has for Mike and his family and his race in general. And I don't know, I think that would be a good scene to see. They said that this movie's going to be darker, it's going to be more adult, it's going to be harsher, it's going to be closer to the book, so that's something that I would like to see if that's the route that they're taking. Georgie photo album. I would love this. We're not gonna get it. Because basically in the first film, they gave each loser a scare scene, which was basically their solo scene that they had where they had a confrontation with Pennywise. So Stan's scene with Judith, with the flute lady. Bill's scene in the basement. Beverly's scene in the bathroom. Ben's scene in the library. Those as such. Well, Bill's in the book and the miniseries was that he was looking through a photo album. He comes across a picture of Georgie and the photo starts bleeding. And then he comes back later with Richie and tries to show him, and they find a picture of Pennywise, and this scene was also in the miniseries, and so Pennywise starts moving and the photo, they try to reach into the photo and the photo like shreds their hands up. It's so cool, and I would really, really like to see this visually in the film, but like I said, I don't think it's going to happen because they already gave Bill a scare scene in the first film, and that was with Georgie and Pennywise in the flooded basement. So it's probably not going to happen, but I would really like a technological upgrade of that scene, because we did get it in the miniseries, but it would look a lot better now. This one also goes hand in hand with the photo album scene. It's Stan and the birds. So Stan already got a scare scene as well. He got the scene with Judith, the flute lady, the painting, in his dad's office. But in the book and the miniseries, his scene was that he like wandered into this abandoned, it was a house. In the miniseries, I'm pretty sure it was a windmill in the book, and he gets attacked by something or other, and his approach to the situation is to hold out his bird-watching book and yell species of birds until it goes away, and it's the biggest meme. It's so fucking funny, and I would love to see it, because Wyatt is just an awkward king, and I need it in my life. And my last one for specific scenes that I want to see is probably the one that I want most of all, of ones that we don't know anything about whether they're going to be in the film or not. I want the scene with Eddie and his mother in the hospital. This is my absolute favorite character scene in the entire 2,000-page book, is when Eddie is in the hospital after breaking his arm and he confronts his mother about the fact that she's been giving him placebos for all these years. He has this amazing monologue, so many good quotes. It's so fucking great. It's just such like a standout moment for Eddie when he finally just kind of like when he just finally looks back at how his life has been up until this point and sort of becomes his own person, becomes a more independent person, and sort of decides, like, I don't want to be, like, this scared little boy anymore. And we got that, in a sense, with the gazebos scene in the first movie, and I love it very, very much. So, but I would really, really, really like the full hospital scene, which we're probably not going to get because of the gazebo scene. But that applies to a lot of these. That's my number one wish, that if we could get any sort of random little character scene from the book, I really want that one. Alright, so now we're going to move on to just individual little bullet point hopes for the film. So my first one is that they don't push Beverly. So judging by the trailers and the extreme amount of both Jaden and Sophia, Bill and Beverly, and Jessica and James, Bill and Beverly, I have an inkling, I guess, it's so fucking obvious, but an inkling that they are really going to be pushing the Bill and Beverly relationship as opposed to the Ben and Beverly relationship, which is extremely frustrating because, first of all, Bill and Beverly don't end up with each other, period. In every version of this story, Ben and Beverly end up to each other, which is how it should be, because Ben is actually a good person and actually treats her well and is not married, therefore does not cheat on his wife, like Bill does. Bill's a fucking cunt. Y'all should know this by this point, because I talk about my distaste for Bill Denbrough plenty. Because Audra is a wonderful woman. He gets back with Audra at the end, and as far as we know, he never even tells her that he has an affair with Beverly. And so I'm not looking forward to watching the affair once again. I'm really not. I don't want it. I especially don't want that to take away screen time from other characters, you know? I just genuinely could care less. But considering that James and Jessica have a history of being in movies together, they're good friends, whatever, the trailers are really pushing it, and they were hinting towards that in the first movie with the whole romantic crush subplot, whatever. It's gonna happen. I don't want it to, but it's gonna. Next point is that Tom and Audra have enough screen time. I have a feeling that they're gonna focus a lot on the core losers, which is awesome. That's what it should be. They should focus the most amount of screen time on the 7 main characters, considering 7 main characters is a lot of characters already. But I hope that Tom Rogan and Audra Denbrough have a decent amount of screen time, because I think they're both such interesting characters. I'm not going to say they're both great characters. Audra's a great character. Tom Rogan is an abusive, sadistic prick. But I still am looking forward to the actor's performance and how he portrays Tom and his interactions with Jessica as Beverly. I think it's going to be really interesting, because I don't think they did a great job with him in the miniseries. I don't think he was sadistic and intense enough. Like, the way that he acts in the book is very, very violent, and I think that that's how he should be portrayed. And by what I've seen so far, I think the actor's going to do a good job, and I'm very excited. And I like Audra. She's a wholesome gal, and I hope that she's in the movie a good amount of time. Wow. One of my hopes was ready. Look how far we've come in just a few weeks, guys. I still can't believe it's really happening, because it is. Like, we've gotten so many confirmed points from multiple sources at this point. It's very exciting. Stan gets the attention he deserves. We stan Stan, okay? We stan Stan. He's the Stan. He's been stand. He's Stan. We stan. I love Stan Uris, and I know that Stan Uris gets the chopping block very early on. I have a feeling that his suicide scene is going to be the opening scene in the movie, but I love him. I think he's a good boy. I think he's interesting to watch. I think he's very dynamic, and I hope that he gets a lot of screen time. He was in one of the kids scenes that came out in the new little teaser thing on Instagram yesterday, so that's exciting. We love Wyatt. He's an awkward boyo. He does a good job. I'm excited. Leader Mike. I've talked about this before. I fucking hate Bill. Bill is not the leader of the Losers Club. Anyways, Mike is. Mike is the reason that anything happens to them. Mike is the reason that everything goes remotely as planned, okay? He's the one who brought them all back. It's looking like he's gonna have a lot of lines, according to the interviews where they were talking about about Asaya having a lot of monologues, which is what he deserves. We love Mike. We love Mike. He's awesome. He's the leader that the Losers Club deserves. He's a tough guy. And I'm very excited that it's looking like he's going to be in the final battle after all, because it's what he deserves. He does not deserve to sit in the hospital after all that shit, okay? He deserves to fight with the others, because he is the true leader of the Losers Club. I have parallels on here, which is very generic. But that just means that I would like to have some scenes reflect the kid and adult actions. Or like the way that they switch back and forth between the adults and the kids to be in like parallel cinematic shots or situations. I think that would just be satisfying from a kid who goes to film school. I don't know. I would like that a lot. But something that I would love, that's not gonna happen, but would fucking kill me, is if they parallel Eddie's death scene with scenes of him with the losers. Or, like, Richie, preferably, because of the way his death scene goes out. But just with the losers in general, of, like, them being happy and shit, I'd fucking die. Just saying. I hope that CGI Finn doesn't look creepy. This is just please. I swear to God. Because if the kids, but Finn specifically, because he's changed the most and he had the most CGI, I swear to God, if he looks bad, it's gonna ruin the whole experience for me. Because I'm not gonna be able to stop thinking about how the CGI looks bad, you know? Like, I just really hope it looks good. Otherwise, I would have rather them just looked like trees and we just, like, we just pretend, you know? I would have rather that than bad CGI. I hope it's close to the book, which allegedly it is. Apparently, there's a lot of stuff from the book, a lot of wacky stuff from the book, that maybe to people who haven't read the book are gonna think is super fucking weird, and I'm here for that shit. I love that shit. I want people to be like, what the fuck is going on? Because that's the kind of story this is, okay? That's the tea. Prune juice. I want, when they all go to Mike's house to drink, Eddie brings prune juice. Because he does in the book, because he's a fucking loser, and I love him so dearly. What a nerd. Return of Judith. I want more Judith. If we're not gonna get Stan's scene with the birds, I want more Judith the Flute Lady, because she's an icon, and we love her. I'd love some Easter eggs to other Stephen King stuff, and I say this because in Pet Sematary and the new Pet Sematary remake, which apparently all of these new Stephen King films are set in the same cinematic universe, kind of like the Marvel movies and such. And when the mother was driving on the highway back to the house, there was a sign that said, "Dairy, turn left," or something. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. I love that. And I would love some little references like that in this film, like maybe to the town in Pet Sematary, considering that they're close to each other. Maybe just some stuff in The Shining, considering Dr. Sleep is coming out soon. And as far as we know, that's also in the same cinematic universe. I don't know, but the Stephen King cinematic universe is truly the cinematic universe that we deserve. And I could not be more excited to see what else comes out of it. More creepy background stuff like the librarian and It one. So it took me many viewings to even notice this in the first It. But when Ben is in the library in the first film and he is reading, he's flipping through the book, there are some shots where it's pointing at him when he's at the table, and the librarian is in the background and she's just like creepily smiling at him in the peripheral. Like, it's not even in focus, but you can see that she's just smiling at him very creepily. And I love that because I think that little details like that perfectly encapsulate sort of the dairy curse and the negative evil energy that's just sort of rests in this town. And so I really want more stuff like that. That's like eerie background stuff that just makes you uncomfortable, because I think stuff like that is way scarier than Pennywise motion capture jump scare shit, which apparently we're getting less of that in the new movie, which is awesome, because that's not what Stephen King horror is. Like, Stephen King horror does not consist of jump scares, and I get that they advertised the first film as a clown horror movie because it would get more people to go see it, but I'm hoping that, and it seems like that now that they have their audience, now that everyone knows the story and the characters, that they are going more back to the roots and what the original integrity was of the book. So, hoping for more ambient stuff, because that's Stephen King's writing style, and that's, in my opinion, scarier and better film essence. Eddie Corcoran, probably not gonna happen, but one of the little side plots about the missing kids was this whole thing with Eddie Corcoran and his family, and this whole crazy alleged murder thing, and this whole trial. I don't know, it was fun and exciting, and if they have time, I would like some little references to that. I'm pretty sure there was a poster in the first film, a missing poster for Eddie Corcoran, but I don't know, I think it'd be fun to see. I just love all the little small, little one-shot background story things that were in the book. I thought they were a fun time. So that's one that I'd like to see. I don't know. Eds. I need Richie to call Eddie Eds. Just once. Like, please. One time. One time I need the word Eds to come out of Richie's mouth. Whether it be as a child or an adult, I don't fucking care. I need him to call him Eds, please. That's all I ask. And then to go off of that, beep beep Richie. We fucking need it. I don't understand to this day why they didn't use beep beep Richie in the original movie. They say shut up Richie like 10 times. Easy. So many times. And then when he's in the room with Pennywise, Pennywise is like beep beep Richie. So why the fuck couldn't they just say beep beep Richie? Because otherwise it doesn't fucking make any sense to anybody who hasn't read the book. It's like an hour or so later. My video for tonight is processing. Very exciting. We're gonna finish this. My camera died. I have a couple things left. Alright, more Jackson, please. I love Lil Georgie. He's the most wholesome little boy. And we are getting more Jackson because he was in the most recent trailer, which I'm pretty sure came out after I made this list. Love that for him. He's such a talented little boy, and we love and support him in all his endeavors. And my last thing is the thing where Bill's stutter and the scars come back after the calls. So, like, after the calls come from Mike and they start slowly remembering everything, Bill's stutter comes back, and then also the scars on their hands from the blood oath come back, and I think that that's really cool and interesting, and I hope that they do that, because I think that the dairy curse is just so complex and strange and so unexplained, like a lot of things in Stephen King novels, like the Pet Sematary and The Shining, like the actual things, like the actual Pet Sematary, how it works, and the actual ability of having The Shining. They're just so interesting and mysterious, and I like how the Curse of Dairy sort of fits into that category. So I hope we see more stuff like that. So yeah, I finally made this video. I've been wanting to make this video for so long. I hope that it's like good. I don't know. I feel like it's not as great as I envisioned in my head. I just wanted to share these thoughts before the film came out, because this is it, guys. Like, this is the week. It comes out a week from today. That's crazy. Like, I'm so excited. I've never been so excited for anything in my life. And I feel like I say that for, like, every big movie or TV show premiere, but, like, genuinely, like, this one means more to me than anything will in a very long time. I'm so excited to get to share it with you guys, because you guys have made this whole experience even more fun, because I've gotten to make all these videos about the news as it was coming out and all my thoughts and theories and all of the stuff. And so I thank you for being here with me and fangirling with me, because my friends won't. Comment, like, and subscribe. I answer all my comments. Let's have some chat. Same thing on Instagram. I answer my comments and my DMs on there. Follow me on Instagram. I will see you in the next video. I don't know what it's gonna be because the hurricane is coming. Bye!